Now we get into sow. What habits are we looking to sow into our cleanse this year? First of all, I think it's important to get into a conversation about the difference between allergies, intolerances, and sensitivities. Many people throw around these words and aren't actually clear on what they are. So what is an allergy? An allergy is basically something like anaphylaxis to peanuts, as an example. That is very, very common. Now, when you have an anaphylaxis allergy, typically that allergy happens right away, right? So what'll occur is that you'll have a swollen throat. You might get itchy red eyes. They may all swell. Your lips may swell. You may have a severe reaction. This is typically something that requires an EpiPen to get you to feeling better and to take you to the hospital, because you require that in order to heal and to not die from having an anaphylaxis reaction. So that's something that's a lot more severe and typically not what we're talking about. We tend to be talking about more sensitivities, which tend to be delayed. So people can be consuming a variety of different foods that they're exposed to all the time, like wheat, dairy, egg, perhaps corn, perhaps rice. Food sensitivities are different for each person. For myself, as an example, I was sensitive to rice, broccoli, almonds. You never know. It isn't necessarily going to be the top out sensitivities. It just depends on you and your body. Some sensitivities are for life because they're just, your body just does not do good with them. And some sensitivities are actually just because you overconsume that food. So you're having bread at every single meal, as an example. So the key to knowing if it is a sensitivity is typically that it'll come anywhere between, you'll feel the problems immediately up to 4 days later. And the problems won't necessarily even be in your intestine. They could actually be within your brain. You could feel foggy, you could feel fatigued. They could be all symptoms from all over. It's not necessarily within the digestive tract. That's very important to know. So that's where people like to test their sensitivity so that they can figure out what the hay is going on with their foods. Then, of course, intolerance is simply where you're just lacking the enzyme. And the common example of this is the lactose intolerance, where if you take Lactaid or perhaps you drink lactose-free milk, then you'll be fine, right? So what we tend to deal with more is sensitivities. Now, I like to talk about this with the big three, the big problem sensitivities, which are dairy and wheat. And on your cleanse, you'll notice that these are the foods that we've taken out. And do you know by chance how Elmer's non-toxic school glue for children is made? It's made with flour, milk, and vinegar. That's how they make it. Now, that's very similar to the typical North American breakfast of cereal, which is what? You use cereal that is typically like Wheaties or something like that, Wheaties, and then you add milk. And then once you eat it, you put it into your stomach that has stomach acid, which is very similar to vinegar. So guess what you get? You get glue. So we're making our own glue in the way that we're eating. And then look, at lunchtime, you might have a sandwich with bread and cheese, right? And then again, you put it into your stomach, and that's the source of acid, which is like vinegar, right? So if you look, and all throughout our diet, pasta in the evening with cheese, right? A cheese sauce maybe. Then again, you ingest that and you put that in your stomach. These are all things that are causing glue in our guts. And the problem with glue in our guts is it doesn't allow us to absorb the good nutrients from our food. It gets the little villi, which are finger-like projections from our intestines, all glued up. And that reduces the amount of surface area that we have available to help with digestion and absorption of the foods. It means that we have less digestive enzymes that are exposed to the food that we're eating. It's only being exposed to the glue. So it puts us in a big gluey mess. So we really must be careful about the foods that we consume. And this is why during a cleanse, these are two of the food groups that are removed, dairy and wheat. So what should you be eating on your cleanse? Take a moment to look at this graphic, because this graphic really truly does give you a really good idea of what a good healthy cleanse plate should be, because we want a variety of three things: a variety of good healthy vegetables. These vegetables should be inclusive of the brassica family vegetables. The brassica family vegetables include broccoli, cabbage, cauliflower, kohlrabi, kale, just to name a few. And why these brassica family vegetables are so important in the red and green vegetable section is because they happen to be a big source of a lot of good phytochemicals like I3C, indole-3-carbinol, or DIM. That broccoli extract, which all happen to have excellent activities in terms of detoxification, liver stimulation, but also are known as anti-cancer agents. So just a fantastic food group, and I truly believe you should be consuming one of those foods groups every single day. So whether it's cabbage on Monday, broccoli on Tuesday, cauliflower on Wednesday, you should be trying to consume that every day. After that, another one of my favorite foods is beets. Beets are those red vegetables that are fantastic. In fact, on my stove right now, I have a big pot of beets because I'm preparing for my cleanse. Now, beets are a sweet root vegetable, which oftentimes is taken away in cleanses, but I think that's a big fault because beets have lots of great goodness to them. They're beautiful red color, and after you boil them, if you have cleaned the beets before boiling them, you can actually keep the juices and drink that. That's a super health promoting drink. The red color is good for purifying your blood. Beets also contain an amino acid called glycine, and glycine is used to help with detoxification and to help with removing of the aluminum in our bodies. Beets are the best, so make sure you consume a lot of them. They also help with the bowels, beets for bowels, right? Because they have a lot of good fibers in them, so they'll help your body to work well. And of course, in the red and green vegetable category, I really like to enjoy onions and garlics, leeks, all those sulfur-based vegetables that really help with detoxification. So those are big keys. Lean proteins, we're looking for things like that are obviously organic, right? Organic is very important in lean proteins because they contain a high fat content. And if you remember from the beginning of the seminar, the fat is where toxicity stores. So any other foods that are high in fat, such as also your liquid fats, you want to make sure you go for those always as organic. Okay, so we're talking eggs, chicken, turkey, fish, beef. We want them grass-fed. We want them possibly wild game. These are all great proteins. Now, if you're a vegetarian, you want to be careful because you do need to be more cognizant to make sure that you are consuming enough protein every single day. And how you do that is by combining grains with legumes. So you would do like as an example, lentils with quinoa, or quinoa with chickpeas, something along those lines, or rice with chickpeas. You always want to be combining those two foods because that creates a perfect protein. Then we get into clean fats. And what's important in clean fats? That they're clean and organic, that they're in a dark glass bottle. Our favorites are coconut oil and avocado for cooking. Coconut oil can have a bit of a coconutty taste. Many of my patients say, I like it, I don't mind it. But if you find that your family's a bit finicky, what you can do instead is use avocado oil, because avocado oil can really help to be more bland tasting and not add in an entire different taste into your cooking. And then, of course, olive oil. So I say all over with avocado and olive oil, and cooking with coconut and avocado. Okay, so those are your best options, and make sure that they are organic. Then we go into, of course, supplements in your body. Many people think that they don't need supplements at all, but truly in this day and age, I think supplements are a necessity. We just are exposed to too much toxicity, and there's just too many deficiencies that we have within our food supply. And when this happens, well, our body can't work at processing things and eliminating out the things that it should be eliminating out. So this is where supplements come into play. And there are some base supplements that I believe that everyone should be on. As an example, probiotics like our tummy toned or gut toned, those are incredibly important. You need to always be working at establishing a good gut bacteria because that is your foundation for life. Having good, healthy gut bugs makes you healthy. Then, of course, a good B vitamin complex like our B Suave. B vitamins are important because they support the stress function in the body. They support detoxification. They're required in so many different enzymatic functions in the body, just absolutely essential. They help with energy, right? Which so many of us are feeling fatigued, of course, because we're feeling a bit toxic. Then, of course, you have the different minerals. Magnesium is one of our favorite ones because magnesium helps the bowels to move, helps again with detoxification, helps with alkalinizing the body, right? And then alkalinizing agents like our Alka practice, that again, remember, that helps with alkalinizing the urine, which will help to eliminate out more toxins. It'll also help to give you more electrolytes, which happen to reset the water balance in your body and water moving from compartment to compartment and the water flow out of the body as much as into the body. Then digestive enzymes are a big aid as well too, right, to help with breaking down foods. Many people ask if I start to take digestive enzymes, will that then mean that I will become dependent and my body won't make digestive enzymes? Absolutely not. We are deficient in digestive enzymes because we're probably not breaking down our protein properly. And if that is the case, you need digestive enzymes to start your body to be absorbing protein so that then you can make your own digestive enzymes. So that will make you addictive to them. You may enjoy the fact that it'll help you to digest your foods a lot better, but eventually our goal is to get you off of some of these supplements and then your body to do it on its own, okay? So just keep in mind, you always want to be focusing on working the program and making sure that your body's not deficient or missing in anything. Another key factor to a practice that we want to help you to sow health into is stress and sleep. Unfortunately, stress truly can be a big problem for people and a problem that accentuates itself. Now, is it the stress, emotional stress that you're feeling, or is it the stress from the toxins that are within your body? Either way, we got to address them and deal with them. You could be stressed because you have bad bugs in your system, like a cold or a flu, or emotionally you feel like a bit of a basket case, or possibly food sensitivities are a stressor to your system, molds, pesticides, solvents, all these things can cause stress to your system. So one of the best ways to help with reducing stress is to work on your sleep. And following a sleep practice can really help to re-engage your body's natural detoxification and cleansing practices. Why? Because not only during sleep do we de-stress, but during sleep and rest we detox and we cleanse our bodies. In fact, between the hours of 1 and 3 a.m. in the morning is our most active time for detoxification. So this is when you want to be working at sleeping deeply during this time. Now, there's many of the practices and guidelines to having healthy hygiene of your sleep, setting the same time to sleep at night, having non-caffeinated beverages after 4 p.m. like rooibos tea, turning down all those computers and iPhones, iPads, and not having your face in them at night because the blue light of these devices will actually reduce your amount of melatonin that your body's naturally able to produce. One way that you can do that is buy yourself some blue light filtering glasses to wear at night if you have to be on the computer on an iPad or iPod. That's an excellent way to do that. The other thing that you can do is place your phone on airplane overnight to get rid of the Wi-Fi too. All those electricity vibes and waves can actually be impact your good sleep. A nice ritual at night, avoiding memory foam mattresses, which have been found, and pillows, which have been found to be very toxic because the way that they're made is that solvents are injected into these mattresses and pillows. And what this does is this creates that nice, comfortable feeling that you get on the memory foam mattress or pad, but that is also incredibly toxic because you're sleeping on that for 8 hours, usually per night, right? And you're just absorbing that through the largest organ. Remember me talking about that? Which absorbs a lot of chemicals. Dress in a cool clothing and make your room nice and cool. And if you're having problems sleeping, there's some ways that you can help address that. If you can't fall asleep, melatonin is a nutrient for that. If you can't maintain your sleep, then GABA. And then magnesium overall just helps to calm you down, which can help you to sort out your sleep practice. So those are the sewing of the healthy habits that are absolutely essential in a cleanse: food, stress, and sleep, and actually post-cleanse as well too. Very important to address. Now, how are we going to grow? Your keys to glow through your grow is that you need to realize that change can be difficult. It can be quite a bit of work, but that work is okay because it leads to a good end result. get good with the daily grind, right? They call it a daily grind, and that's a very negative way to look at it. So I proposed for us to get good with that daily grind. Practice makes progress. We might not practice it properly at first, but if we keep on practicing, eventually become a habit, and that habit will become routine, and it'll just become super easy. So get good with that grind. You know, there's such an importance in getting a coach and getting a guide and joining a community. It's one of the reasons why we continue to do the Community on a Cleanse. We continue to do our Fall Slim Fast event, and we're looking at adding in more events throughout the year. The reason being is we want you to have guidance and to have a plan, and to also have a team that you can work with, or even getting a naturopathic doctor as a coach. I have a coach in many different aspects of my life because I feel it keeps me on track and it keeps me motivated. Get yourself a coach. We at Santa's Health Practice are always looking for great patients to work with so that we can help to refine their health practice. And the other thing, I want you to work at minding your mind, to reframe those negative thoughts that you may be telling yourself on a regular basis, to really change those ideas that you're not good enough or you can't do this. You can do anything that you put your mind to, anything, as long as you have the dedication, as long as you are determined, and as long as you are disciplined, you can achieve anything that you put your mind towards. I want you from now on in to look at those negative thoughts that you say about yourself, to grab them, to analyze them, and to turn them upside down from a frown into a smile and make them positive. So if you say to yourself, I can't do this, I want you to look at it, reframe it, and say, I can do this. I can do this. And repeat that at least 3 to 10 times to see if you can change how your mind is always going towards the negative. Positivity pays. You can do this. This truly is the magic pill, is to work on the mind aspect, to get good with your grind, to know its work, honor the struggle, to move forward, and to do what needs to be done in order to get to the other side. You can do it. Perfect.